Hello guys, welcome back to EducateZilla. EducateZilla is providing you the best material to learn and improve yourself in technology. So today we will going to learn control statements and it is the next topic of the playlist C language. So we will going to cover today's agenda, which is if statement, if else, nested if, and lastly the assignment we will going to perform. So if else statement, the if else statement in C is used to perform the operations based on some specific condition. If else statement is a type of statement which helps us to put some conditions. For the basis of that condition we can perform some operation. The operation specified in if block are executed if and only if the given condition is true, otherwise the else block will execute. Fine. So there are the following variants of if statement in C language: if statement, if else statement, if else if ladder, and nested if. The the last third and fourth statement is the statement we can commonly say as nested if else statement. So here's the control statement. The if statement is used to check some given condition and perform some operation depending upon the correctness of that condition. It is mostly used in the scenario where we need to perform the different operations for the different conditions. The syntax of the statement is given below. Fine. So basically, guys, in the if statement, we will going to put the condition that we want to check, and if that condition will going to be a true, then the code will execute it, otherwise it will switch to some other if. So here is the expression, syntax of the if block. In if, inside this parenthesis we need to write our condition. Suppose we are writing here if n is greater than 0. So if your given number is greater than 0, then only this condition will true, and this will come to this inside the curly braces, otherwise it won't come and it will switch to some other statement. The second is if else statement. So the if else statement is used to perform two operations for a single conditions. The if else statement is an extension to the if statement. In the previous slide we have read if statement. In this slide we will going to read we are reading if else statement. So to the if statement, using which we can perform two different operations, that is, one is for correctness of that condition and the other is for incorrectness of the condition. What happens is, here we must notice that if and else block cannot be executed simultaneously. Using if else statement is always preferable since it always invokes an otherwise case with every if conditions. So the syntax of if statement is given below. So here's the syntax of if statement. Here we will write our condition. Suppose we are writing here if n is greater than 0. So suppose if your n is 1, then this code will be executed, that is written here inside this curly braces. If your n is -1, then your else block will going to execute it. That's why the definition says that if your one block is for the correctness of the code and the second one is for the incorrectness of the code. Here is the flow chart of the if statement. Fine, we are writing here the condition. Suppose n is greater than 0. Your 1. Suppose n is 1 and 1 is greater than 0. Yes, true. If code will execute it. Fine. And then after if there is any other if, then that will be executed. But if your n is -1, so -1 is greater than 0, no, it would be false, and then else code will be executed. And the next is nested if else condition. So in the nested if else condition, what happens is we are using here multiple if else statement. For example, here is the if, here is the else for the previous if, here is the next if, and here is the else, here is the if, and here is the else. Fine. Every if there would be else present. This is must to be present else. if we are writing if else if, no, that is not mandatory to write always else, but if you are writing in this way, then the syntax you need to notice it. So in the if condition, if you are writing here n is greater than 0, suppose this is not true, this is not true, this is not true. In the case of multiple condition you want to put for a particular program or code, so in that case, nested if else statement would be the correct option for you. So the next is the assignment. Fine. The first assignment saying say check whether a number is even or odd using if else statement. So the second we will going to do here online C++ compiler. I am using C++ compiler. The syntax of C and C++ is almost the same. C++ is the modern language. That's why I'm using for the practical knowledge of in C++ language. And this work is for you all guys to do it in a C language. Fine, make a copy of one notebook that is for only C language and write all your definition notes here. I will share all the PPTs. So here's the first question, check whether a number is even or odd. So I'm doing it in a C++ so that you will going to do it in C language. So here is the header files. Fine, here I am writing the main condition, that is using namespace std of C++. Here is the main object that I taught you in my first video of C language. Int main, here we are taking n equals to 1. Fine. Yeah, n equals to 12 we are taking. I'm not taking input here. Okay, let's take input. Fine. Here I'm taking the input. If your and mod 2, if this is true, then the answer would be number is odd. Fine. Here is the slash and I'm using for the next line, for printing in the next line. Fine. In that case, number is even. Guys, you just don't need to modify anything, just modify the syntax, same code, same logic you have to print for C language. Fine. And this is the homework for today to you guys to complete it. Fine, here I am writing 20. So yeah, see, this is even. So our first assignment is completed here. We have checked even or odd. Fine, check one more time for the odd if you want me to check. Suppose I'm writing here 3. Number is odd, simple. Next is program to check whether a person is eligible to vote or not. So if the person is, suppose N is the person. So if the person is greater than 18, greater than or equals to 18, in that case, it will be eligible. So we will write here eligible. Sorry. Eligible to vote. And in the else case, we just copy paste this. I think this is not Control C and then not. Fine. So suppose I'm writing here my age, that is 22. So I'm eligible to vote. Suppose here is some audience in which some person is 15-year-old. So it is not eligible for vote. He or she is not eligible for vote. Fine. So we have completed our second assignment as well. Now for the third assignment, this is the question that I am giving you to solve. Program to calculate the grade of the student according to the specified marks. So you just don't need to do anything. Just check if the number is greater than 75, then he is passed with a distinction. If number is greater than 23 or 24, then he or she failed. And if the number is in the below average, so she failed. If if the number is greater than 30, and the number is less than 75, then he or she is only pass. Fine. So you just need to put the condition. In this case, you have to use nested if else. Fine. You just don't need to do anything. Just check here. Suppose here write one more condition. This is the block for that. Here write one more condition. In that way you have to use, or in the next video I will answer this question. Fine. For that you need to try this question. So for today this is enough, guys. I hope you have understood now the concept of control statement, if else statement, and nested if. And I hope we have done the assignments questions too. I hope you all got my got my concepts, got my logic. So for this video, this is enough for you guys to learn. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.